Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Straightforward Farming Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Reed, alongside the one and only Nick McCormick. How's it going, Nick?
Going good, Tony. Going good.
Good. There's something I want to talk about today that it just pisses me off to no end. I don't believe in the word bullying. I don't. I'm sorry. And this might be a controversial topic. I don't know where we're going to go here, but I just don't. I mean, if I gave my kids 1/100th of the shit that I got from my uncles and brothers, friends, and all that stuff when I was a kid, I don't think they would know how to act. I don't.
I hear you there. It's the wussification of America.
It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And I've told my wife this before. She's like, how do you come up with this stuff? Or why are you so quick-witted or whatever? And that's where I learned that. Seriously, as a little kid.
Defense mechanism.
Exactly. You had to have a comeback.
Yeah.
And
Really
eventually, and eventually it goes away. But I'm sorry. To me, if we want to use the term bullying, that's where you go to the bus stop and you get physically punched in the face every day for 5 days, 10 days. You'll pick your days on end. But for somebody to sit behind you on the bus and call you a pussy every day, I'm sorry. That's not bullying.
I mean, there's varying levels of being picked on, right? And some of them do get extreme. You don't want to get out of hand, but kids being kids, at some level, that's good for you. I mean,
I agree.
So my brother was pretty gracious and always took me with him for the most part. He's 5 years older than me.
Right.
So, and he has a lot of great friends. I'm still friends with all of them to this day. But they rode me pretty hard.
Right.
And that's fine. I had it coming.
Yeah.
I deserved it. It's fine. And I didn't necessarily enjoy all of it at the time. But looking back, that was pretty good for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with it. It's fine. I wouldn't trade it.
When I grew up, for those of you that don't know, I've got two older brothers. We was all 2 years apart, 2 years in between each of the next one. And I guess when we were little, we were all pretty close. And then even growing up, till we were 16, 17 years old, we were all super close. We never really fought. I mean, when we were little kids, we fought. But by the time we were 13, 14 years old, we kind of grew out of that and got along great and still get along great. And we're probably not as close as we was just because life happens and, people get married.
Busy,
But even to this day, like my wife, her and her family, just every time they pick up the phone, they're fighting and bitching and crying and, and fighting back and forth. It's like, she's like, you have no drama in your family. I'm like, I know, because everybody knows where everybody stands.
Yeah.
Because they're just like me to a T.
Exactly.
And so it never gets that far off the rails.
Yeah.
But as far as the bullying goes, I'm sorry. It's out of hand. To me, it is.
Well, now everything's bullying. I mean, how many times you get kicked off TikTok, this, that, and the other for a comment that wasn't even directed at any one person or even any group of people. Some of it was just in jest and fun, whatever. And then everybody's a victim.
Yeah.
You got to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, me and Farm Boy Matt are really good friends. We talk on a daily basis. And I made an innocent video when there's a guy called Pipe Fitter by Day. He's from North Carolina. He come up here. And him and Matt had went out the night before and drank a bunch or whatever. And so he left Matt's house and come down to see me and then went back to Matt's house. He just kind of come down for a few hours and went back. And I just made a simple, innocent video, said, yep, they went out drinking last night, and Matt's a big pussy, he couldn't come down. And it immediately got taken down for bullying. It's like, I didn't mean it like that at all. We're friends.
Exactly. Everybody overanalyzes everything and makes it into a little bit bigger deal than it is usually.
Yeah, and I just can't get on board with this term bullying. It don't mean, in my eyes, what the rest of general society thinks it means, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
I mean, bullying when we were kids was way more extreme than what it is today.
Oh, for sure. I don't know if a kid nowadays would handle what we had to go through. I mean, seriously. And I'm not saying I was a victim or it was just horrendous, because it wasn't. It wasn't nothing like that.
No.
But like I say, my kids have not got 1/100th of the shit.
For sure.
And I don't do that to my nieces and nephews. I mean, my uncles were just terrible to me, but it was all in good fun. I mean, they weren't abusive, but I don't
giving you a hard time.
Yeah, but I don't treat my nieces and nephews the way that they treated me.
Well, you can't. You never get to see them again.
Right. And if any of my aunts, uncles, whoever are listening, I'm not knocking you. I don't regret it a bit. It worked out for the better. I mean, but I don't know where we're going to go from here.
As a society, we're just so soft.
It's terrible.
Anymore. I mean, I think back to my childhood and the butt kickings I got for the things I did. Man, I deserved them.
Yeah.
I had it coming.
Yep.
And my wife and I have had this conversation several times. It's like, we stopped doing it for the shame or this. And I'm like, shame wouldn't have stopped my brother and I from doing anything.
Oh, God, no.
We stopped because there was physical punishment at the end of that rope.
Right.
And you knew where that was going. You had door A and door B.
Yeah.
Behind one door, there's an ass kicking. Behind door B, you've made a better choice, and you're not going to get thumps for it. And like I said, all of them I had coming.
It's funny, last night we took our kids to the county fair to the rodeo. They'd never been to a rodeo. And I remember sitting there, and it went through my mind more than once that I can't believe I'm actually sitting here watching a rodeo this day and age. Seriously. Yeah. Roping calves and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. Yeah, it jerks their neck a little bit, and they throw them down, tie their legs together. But when it's all said and done, the calf gets up and walks off. Totally fine. No issue there. But I was sitting there the whole time thinking, man, I cannot believe this is one sport that has not been, and I'm not advocating for shut down rodeos. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying I can't believe of all the other stupid shit that's going on, that's one sport that hasn't been shut down.
Yeah, don't kick the rodeo, guys. That and motorsports is about the only thing left that still stands for the flag. So that's about the only pure good American sports left.
And I will admit, I was proud because it was completely sold out, and I don't know how many people were there. I'm going to guess it was 2,000 to 3,000. I mean, it's a shitload. I mean, you've been there. It's a bunch.
Yeah.
And when they done the national anthem, I did not, because I specifically looked, I did not see one person sitting or kneeling or nothing.
They'll get drug out by their hair and their shit kicked out of them like they ought to have for kneeling for the flag.
You're damn right.
You kneel in front of me, it's going to be your last time standing. You're not going to be able to stand up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't put up with that shit.
No, and there's no reason to. But once again, that's where we've got the pussification of this country. My
dad taught me at an early age. You jack around during the national anthem, you better be ready for foot to ass. Yeah. Because that's where you're headed.
And now that you think about it, or that I think about it last night, through the whole national anthem, there wasn't kids crying. Nope. They wasn't hooping and hollering.
No.
I think every person there was standing up with their hand on their heart, or at least, or standing properly, and
rodeo and motorsports is all we got left.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this whole bullying and pussification and now you can do whatever you want. It's your freedom. I'm all for freedom of speech. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
But we've taken this to, if you're an Olympic athlete and you're kneeling on the field, then you're automatically off the team because that just completely defies everything.
They handled that a lot different than I would. If I was the coach of that deal, those people would have immediately been off the team. And if we don't have enough people to field the thing, I guess we're forfeiting.
Yeah.
And you can find your own ride home because we're not giving you one. So you better be calling for a plane because we ain't hauling you back.
Yep. Yeah, because what was that one stupid bitch, which I never followed it, but leading up to the Olympics, it was some stupid sport, but her goal was to win the gold medal so she could burn the American flag on the podium. And to me, it's like, a comment, just the comment alone like that, you're done. We're not going to have anything to do with you.
No.
You're done.
No, definitely wouldn't have made the team if I was the coach. I don't care if she's the greatest athlete to ever play the sport. Not going to make the team.
I can't believe we have gone this far off the reservation. I truly cannot believe it. It all started with that fucking Colin Kaepernick. I don't care what anybody says. That's where all this shit started.
Yep. What should have happened on that deal is the O-line should have laid down and let his ass get planted in the dirt about 3 straight downs. Yep. And if he was still able to stand, they should have crippled his ass in the locker room at halftime.
Yep. Here's a guy that's so oppressed that he's making millions of dollars a year. Yeah. So since it's that bad, then push back your shit and get out. Yeah, we won't miss you.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't see him donate all his money to needy causes.
No, I didn't either. That's the shit that I'm getting tired of, It's just like we were talking earlier. I'm going to get some flack for this, and I'm not speaking for Nick here. Don't misunderstand me. But, Kevin Costner. Everybody loves the show Yellowstone.
Yep.
One of the biggest liberal anti-gun son of a bitches there is. But what's he doing? Making his living off of guns. Every movie he's ever been in, virtually.
Yes.
Dances with Wolves and, whatever.
All of them, pretty much.
Has all violence and killing and guns and whatever else.
Yeah. Well, it's okay for them, Tony. Just not
for
okay
sure.
For you.
Yeah, for sure. Now Tim McGraw's got his big fucking prequel to the Dutton
I was
family.
pretty excited about the prequel till they put a no count candy ass in the script. And
I'd like to shove his plastic cowboy hat up his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Looks like he bought that at a county fair. You think with that kind of money, he could afford a real hat.
Yep.
But he'd have to be a man and go get a Stetson or a Resistol, and he ain't that big a fella, I don't guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think once you reach a certain status, I don't know if it's required that you have to go along with that shit or what the...
I think you have to keep getting the roles, right?
I think you do.
If you're a normal American, they're going to write you out of the deal.
Yep.
You know.
And to me, I'm not doing that. I am not selling my soul like that. I'm not.
No, you got the same jackbags in charge of that are pushing the other agendas in this country.
Yeah.
And they pick and choose, and you're not the chosen one on this deal because you don't go along with our agenda.
Yep.
You know.
I've had people ask me that now, different friends. Just with the following that I've got on TikTok, they're like, so you mean to tell me that if Goodyear come up to you and said, we will give you $100,000 a year and we'll endorse you and you got to endorse our products and this and that? I'm like, no, I wouldn't. And I truly, honest to God, wouldn't. I know that sounds crazy. And they say, yeah, you say that now till they wave a check in front of your face. I will not do it. I won't because I don't believe in that. I hate being lied to.
I hear
you know what I mean?
Goodyear farm tires are not good.
They're shit.
Now, Goodyear car tires is a different company. To my knowledge, but they took the candy ass liberal role early on here, not too long ago, and I was a fairly big fan of their automotive tires until that. Now I'm on my third set. I'll never buy another set.
Yeah,
they want to go down that path of being anti-American. Yeah, then I'll give my money to some foreign company. Then I guess I won't worry about it. You know. And
to me, I guess whether you're a Tim McGraw, whoever, pick your poison on that. Okay, you've already got more money than you could spend in 3 lifetimes, so why would you sell your soul at this point? Mm-hmm. To me, that's even less of a reason. I can see it when you have nothing and you're trying to get somewhere. It's like, well, hey, it's going to pay me $150,000. I ain't got a pot to piss in. I'll say it just to get the role. But, okay, you're worth $50 million now, so I'm going to...
Yeah, what difference does it make?
Yeah. I can't wrap my brain around that. And I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to be rich and famous, but that just irks me when they do that shit. And I think Rush Limbaugh said it best years ago on his radio show. If you ever notice all these people like that bitch and get on TV and talk on all these commercials that you and I need to donate to, the humane, take your pick. They're always making these stupid commercials.
Spend all your time waiting.
Yeah. They always donate just enough money that Congress and everybody don't have to jump in and make a mandate that, hey, once you get so much money, you have to, you know what I mean? Because of all the socialism shit. So they do just enough that they can get a little publicity that, oh, look what he did, but it's not anywhere near. You and I donating $100 would be equivalent to them donating 100,000.
Yeah, exactly, or more.
Yeah. So
they kick on just enough to keep everybody happy and make it look good on paper, and yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, I miss the 80s.
I do too.
I miss the 80s when communism was bad. People stood for the flag. America, we were proud. We were proud to be Americans.
Yep.
Now it's like half the country is ashamed to be Americans. If you don't like it, leave. That's fine.
Yeah.
Pack your shit and go to one of these socialist, no-count, third-world shit boxes and live down there. Make it great.
Yeah.
Make it into it is what you want. So go ahead and go there. You don't have to change a thing. It's exactly the way you want it.
Yep. Move to, take your pick, Cuba, Venezuela, wherever you want to go. Yeah. Roll right on down there and just show us how it's done.
They'll be glad to have you.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to break into Venezuela these days, so they'll gladly take you.
Yeah. And it's damn funny. They're all floating over here on rafts, because it's so great. I mean, you don't see anybody from Miami say, hey, you want to take a raft to Cuba today? Hop on. I mean, ain't much of that going on.
No. It's pretty sad where we're at these days. And I hate to go down, we don't make this into the political podcast, but at some point in time, people look in the mirror. This is America. It's nothing to be ashamed of,
Yep.
You stand for the flag. If you don't like the flag, pack your shit.
Yeah.
That's fine.
To me,
go ahead and move. We don't care.
They're all doing this shit in the Olympics now. It's like they feel bad, because we win the most medals out of any of them. It's like, to me, we should win every medal there. At the end, when the leaderboard...
I'm looking for complete and total domination.
Exactly. Me too.
Yes.
I want every medal that's available. All of them.
All of them. I want to take the top 3 in every sport all the time. Yep. That's where we should be. Until we get to that, we still got a ways to go.
I agree 100%. And
losing sucks.
It does.
You want to win.
Yep.
And you don't have to be ashamed about winning, especially if you worked harder. It's one thing if you cheated, but if you worked harder than the other guy, it's nothing to be ashamed about. Yep.
I didn't follow the Olympics at all. None of it. Zero, zip, zilch. I'm not into sports. Don't give a shit. Once the kneeling started, whatever, I was like, I don't even care. And Tokyo was such a joke anyway for the Olympics. But I didn't. Was there any of the transgender shit? Did you hear? I don't know.
Yeah, there have been some issues there. But I'm okay with that too. I hope at some point in time, and I don't mean to knock the women on this, but feminism has been the ruination of the American woman.
It has.
And we're going to go down that path. I hope men dominate every sport they've got because they want equal rights. They want everything fair. Then why are there women's sports?
Exactly.
You just qualify for the team. It's a team. We don't have men's and women's. It's just a team.
I agree.
You're so badass and you want this way. You guys went from having to stay home and raise babies to now you have to work and stay home and raise babies.
Yeah.
So you got your way. It's good. You're all good. You wanted it this way. Yeah. Well, here you go.
Shit can the WNBA.
Yep. We don't need that. Yep. We just need the NBA. If you're good enough to make the team, you make the team. If not, I guess you just shit out of luck.
Right. No, I do. I really think it's funny when I see these different stories because you see them all the time. You know that some senior in high school, you know, that's a man that's 250 pounds, you know, he joins the women's discus team and just fucking annihilates them. Yep. I think it's funny. It's like, that's what you guys say.
The WNBA is a prime example, right? So by gosh, we got to have more people watching this, and this is a bunch of shit, and we got to have people come out here. If all the women went and watched that, they'd have plenty of fans. They don't need a single man to attend that sport.
Right.
There's plenty of women. If just 50% of the women went and watched that, they're good.
Yeah.
But women don't want to watch it either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's not that good.
Right.
I saw a stat the other day. I think the total salary for the WNBA is less than what Steph Curry signed for the other day.
Are you serious?
So it was something along those lines. And I'll have the numbers mixed up. I'd have to go back and research it. But it was along those lines because, well, nobody's watching. There's not that much fan base because it's not that good to watch.
Exactly.
You know? And I'm not knocking women's basketball or women's sports in general, but I'm like, feminism has pushed it to the point that they're going to regress. And now they're going to start bitching that they go,
for sure,
all these men participating in a sport. Well, you kind of pushed it to that level. So you got what you got.
No, I agree 100%. So if that's the road we're going to go down, then we're going to go down at full bore as far as I'm concerned.
Yep,
take her to the 10th power.
Full throttle.
And I don't understand the mentality of that. How can you not see that as somebody who pushes for that shit that, okay, we've took it so far now that it's going to completely ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
can't have your cake and eat it too on that. You know? But that's where they're at and that's what they want. Well, I guess they got it.
Yeah. You know? I mean, what do I know? I guess that's why I'm not in a...
The other thing that cracks me up about the Olympics is, right, okay, so we're all about conserving resources and we're going to make the world a better place. We're going to consume less and we're going to be loving and caring. The world's going to be so beautiful. And then every 4 years, we spend $200 billion building some giant complex for the Olympics.
I agree.
And then we shit can it, leave it fall into ruins, and we move it to another city 4 years later. How about we have the thing in the same place twice?
Right. That's,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Farm Progress Show figured it out. They're like, hey, this is stupid.
Yeah.
We should have 2 locations, move it back and forth.
Yeah.
We can build permanent structures here. They don't get wasted. It's all good to go. Nope. Not in the Olympics. We got to keep moving it around, you know.
But you got to go green. You got to, you can't do shit like that.
We got to ride in our electric vehicle to the Olympics because that's going to save the world. Meanwhile, there's 55 Olympic sites that are sitting there just falling apart.
Yeah, in ruins.
You know, we got to move it to China for 1 year. We got to shut the whole country down for 6 months so you can breathe because, well, apparently they don't use electric vehicles there.
Yeah.
And, makes good sense.
Yeah, that whole Olympic deal.
They can shit can the whole Olympic thing.
I'm the same way. I could give a shit less. Which I didn't hear. So since we had this a year late, will we have Olympics in 3 years now? Or are they going to wait
I don't
4
know.
again?
I don't care.
I'm the same way. It don't matter to me. It really don't. I could care less.
No, it's not a big deal to me anymore. It used to be something I was fairly excited to watch and whatnot. If they're not proud enough to stand for the flag and to represent their country, then I damn sure ain't proud to watch them.
I agree. 150%. I'm not in. Which I was never in.
I haven't watched a football game since Colin Kaepernick kneeled.
Nope.
I will occasionally catch glimpses of the Super Bowl if Tom Brady's in it because he's a North American normal guy. No issues with him, like Tom. But I'll watch him just because the haters hate him because he's our age. Well, he's actually older than us.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But otherwise, Whatever. I don't watch any football. I don't watch any NBA.
I don't watch baseball.
They just run college basketball. I don't watch baseball since they went libtard.
Yeah. What's the deal on college basketball now? You can pay people, I guess. That's the new deal.
You can pay them, and you can transfer at a whim, and which is going to turn into who can pay the most. And,
and I guarantee you, I know who that's going to be. Just like it's always been.
I'll just stick with the American sports, motorsports, and rodeo.
Yeah,
we pretty much would dominate the world in that. So I'm good with that.
My thing, too, on sports, and I don't mean to cross a big line here, and I'm just going to say it. Since we all have to have equal this and equal that and blah, 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 shouldn't the basketball teams have to be the same way? Shouldn't you have to have as many white players on a team as you do?
You would think.
I mean,
it's funny how that works. Yeah, funny how that works.
But
there's a big push the one way, not so big a push the other. Yeah.
And now baseball, that's getting to be a lot of Dominican Republic, Central America,
Yeah. A lot of outsiders, just glad to be here. But sadly enough, most of them are more proud to be in America.
Oh, for sure.
The people that are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've went too far off the reservation, in my opinion. And there just ain't enough of us to make a difference anymore.
There is enough. And just unfortunately, the us is too quiet for the most part.
Yeah.
We're too busy at work to get too wrapped up in other stuff, and we just let it go. And, it's not...
Yep. And before I say this, I want to preface it by saying I'm not advocating for war, revolution, whatever. Don't misunderstand this. But the sickening part is when the American Revolution started, everybody who helped fund that, or for the most part, had more to lose than anybody.
Yes.
They were the wealthy people of the day that could have just said, fuck it, I don't care. If they want to tax us, it ain't going to affect me none, whatever.
I can afford it.
Forget it. But they were the people who lost everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And literally everything. I mean, if you look at the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, and I'll have to read that on one of these podcasts one of these days, it's fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah, they didn't come out that well in the end.
No, and then at the end, Congress wouldn't honor any of the debts, that they had. And
well, the beginning of the U.S. government starting to fuck them.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
From the very, very beginning. Yeah,
for sure.
It didn't take them long to get down that path.
No.
Yeah.
And that's the, I don't know what you want to call it, the depressing part, I guess you would say, that, no, everybody's too comfortable. And that's never going to change.
Well, little known fact, Tony, the Revolutionary War would have never happened if people just got vaccinated and put their masks on.
Sure, yeah.
That's all the king was asking for, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
they just put their mask on and got vaccinated, the war wouldn't even happen. He didn't care about the taxes. He was just trying to push that through to get them to wear their mask and get a vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all they needed.
The Revolutionary War is phenomenal, in my opinion. It's very interesting. And I think...
The testicular fortitude that it took in that time to do that...
And I looked up, there was only like 25,000 casualties. Of course, the country wasn't near as big, but
for sure.
There was only like 25,000 casualties in that war, or 25,000 deaths, I guess. But yeah, it's mind-boggling. And then to have the British say, you fuckers are cheating, you're hiding behind trees.
Yeah, you're hiding behind trees, and we're out here beating our drums wearing red coats, and you guys are wearing like camouflage and shit. Yeah. And that is unfair. The original liberal movement.
Yeah.
And you're not playing fair.
Exactly.
You beat your drum, play your trumpet, then we'll fight. Yeah, we'll get right on that, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a miracle we ever won that war, to be honest. I mean, you literally took on the largest army in the world at the time.
No doubt. And then cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a few good old boys saying, you know what? Enough's enough.
Yep.
We're tired of this. But to the victor goes the spoils, and the victor gets to write history, right? So if we lose that war, history gets written a little different, you know?
Yeah, they had a lot on the line. I mean, they really did.
Yeah.
But, that's what I always have to go back and remind my kids, that the people who had the most to lose were the first ones in line to say, hey, boys, it's now or never. They had enough foresight to say it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah.
So we got to stop it now.
Stop it now before it escalates.
And I've often wondered how guys like me and you would have turned out. Of course, hindsight's always 20/20, but if I was born 60, 70, 80 years prior to where I am now, would I have been able to make it big? You know, 'cause it's easy to look back now and say, well, God, I could have done that.
Yeah, I could have done that. Yeah.
You know, but you got to realize, I mean, people literally had nothing, you know.
Yeah.
But it just always makes you wonder how you ended up in the point in time that you did and what you're supposed to do with it, you know.
Yeah. And maybe our kids will look back and be like, man, I wish I'd have been born when my parents were, but...
Yeah, right.
I'd like to have been born when my parents were.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? They were of ripe age when muscle cars were a thing. They were of, you know, they were just into their, you know, having children age when they, you know, mid-70s trucks and tractors were cool, trucks were cool. Still a hard life, but, you know, air conditioning was a big feature.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just, none of those trucks ever quit because, you know, some emissions bullshit popped up. Well, except for you guys in California. You guys have had smog pumps since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
It's working out great for you. But, I don't know. It's, you know, you always hear about your, you know, you talk to your grandpa, you talk to your dad, whoever, uncles, whatever, you know, oh, the world was better back then, you know, the sky's falling, it's going downhill, blah, blah, blah. It's like, now it's like, it looks like some of the worst shit in the Bible is starting to come true. I really hope I was going to be dead before that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go too far down that path, but it's like, you know, our parents and grandparents said the same thing. Oh, shit's getting worse. It's getting worse, getting worse. But looking back now, it's like that wasn't a drop in the bucket. I can't believe how fast it is ramped up on the stupid. I mean, the stupid is approaching at an alarming rate.
Oh, for sure. We've took it to the 10th power now.
I mean, if you just went through Yahoo News today, randomly, and you scrolled, flipped your finger, and picked out 2 articles of any topic, and then revert that back to 1982, 84, 80, pick your year in the 80s, hell, pick your year in the 90s, and say, hey, this is happening then, you'd have probably got beat up on the street for it.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
You know, it's mind-boggling to me how fast we went down the stupid hole.
Yeah. And... I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I really don't. I just honestly feel like that it's definitely on the fast track compared to what it was.
It's on the fast track to dumb, and you know, I don't want to go down, like I said, you know, trying to incite some sort of, you know, large movement or whatnot. Even though that's probably what it's going to take at some level. But you know, you see these people marching in the street in Cuba and these other countries that literally are dirt poor.
Yeah,
and they're prouder to try to be an American, waving a flag, begging us for freedom, than people that live here that are free are to be here. And that to me just doesn't set well. That wasn't how I was raised.
Nope.
You know, like I said, when I was a kid, when the national anthem came on, you stood there with hand over your heart, took your hat off. You didn't say a word unless it was the national anthem.
For sure.
You either recite it or you keep your lips shut.
Yep.
And that's your 2 choices.
Yep.
Well, you had 3 choices. You could recite it, you could stand there without saying a word with your hand over your heart and not say anything, or you could get your ass kicked out immediately afterwards.
Yep.
You had 3 options.
Yeah.
And I think the world is a better place if we go back to that.
I remember literally in first grade saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning.
Yep.
And of course, at that age, you know, you always had the one kid that was screwing around, you know, because you just didn't know at that age. You're 6 years old, you know. But man, I can remember teachers just coming unsnapped. You know, the rest of the class,
a big deal.
You went ahead and you finished the pledge, and then the minute the pledge was over, that kid got jerked outside. And
we're gonna have a stern talking to, and the next day, you're gonna do it right, or there's gonna be hell to pay, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I wonder in public schools, even in our small community, if they still say the Pledge of Allegiance of a morning. I don't know. I'm not saying they do or don't.
I don't know. I would have to ask.
But I would say, I don't remember doing it in high school. Do you? I know we did up through junior high.
I don't know in high school.
Because I'm trying to think, you know, what classes I even had.
Well, I rode with a neighbor kid till I could drive, so we were always late. So we'd have been there in time.
Yeah.
But
I don't hardly remember saying it at all in high school.
Too many moons ago and too many beers ago.
But grade school was
pretty.
Sure. Yeah, it was pretty
for sure.
Pretty well every day for
every day
as well as I can remember. And you know, all of my grade, which I mean, I was a complete hellion in high school, and we're not going to go down that road. But I had phenomenal grade school teachers. I mean, I really did. There is not one teacher that I would go back and change, or one that I hated, or
no.
every teacher that I had in grade school felt like they cared. They were good people. They were there to make sure you learned. They weren't just beating their time in. And I have no regrets on grade school.
I had all good grade school teachers. All good grade school teachers.
I did too.
Absolutely.
And back then, I don't think the entire time, hardly, there might have been one, but the entire time I was in grade school, I think every one of them teachers was a teacher for that grade from the time I was in kindergarten all the way to high school.
Just about, yeah.
And was still there years after we graduated.
Yeah.
Until a lot of them end up finally retiring. But nowadays, I mean, it's like you read a school board minutes, it's like they just hire teachers just left and right and up and down. And
back then it was, well, people didn't travel as far. They were all fairly local, and they were here, and that's where they stayed. And like I said, they were vested in the community, and they did a good job, you know. And I'm not saying teachers today don't do a good job. Teachers today have a whole new role of babysitting and administrative bullshit that they have to put up with.
Oh, for sure.
That does nothing more than detract from education.
Yeah, I'm not knocking today's teachers by any means. Because like you say, people travel farther and there's different circumstances there.
It's a different deal now. It's a lot more BS to put up with.
But shoot, I think a lot of the teachers when we were in school all lived either in the community or the next community down. Yeah. You know, all within 10, 15 mile of here. And
here's the one thing I don't understand about modern day teaching. And someone can message us on this and explain this to me. I hear all these teachers complain about, well, we just have to teach to the test. Teach to the test. They're testing us on this. That's how they grade us. They're teaching to the test. If you put the relevant shit on the test, doesn't that solve your problem?
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong. I probably am. I'm not a teacher. That's not my calling in life.
Right.
Nobody wants me teaching their kids.
No, me neither.
I'm not a teacher. That's not my deal. But I always wonder, I'm like, but I was fairly good at tests. I was better at tests than I was at the rest of the stuff. So maybe I'm a little biased on that. But I'm like, if you just put the relevant shit on the test that you're supposed to learn, teaching the test seems like it takes care of itself. Mm-hmm. Now, I know there's some there's some bureaucracy bullshit in there that messes it up. But if you just teach to the test, it seems like they'd have the information they needed.
Yeah. I learned more, and we had the same teachers. Nick and I was in the same class. I learned more from the teachers that were in the Navy and this and that. You know, he might have been your history teacher, but he was in the Navy, and he would just sit on the corner of your desk, not even pick his book up, and he would tell you when he was in Morocco and all this stuff, and he could just tie it together so easy that you wanted to hear more about it versus just reading out of the book. Yeah. And it always pissed me off so bad. Never once did I learn about Vietnam, World War II. I don't think even World War I.
Well, the book was too long. Like you're not saying there isn't value about learning about some ancient peoples in South America whose entire society and population is gone, and we think we know what happened, but we don't really know, and we're pretty sure they existed, but we can't find any relics. I'm like, that's all neat. That ought to be a lot shorter time. Yeah. And current modern day history
for sure
has formed this country and is going to repeat and has influenced the decisions that are being made today should be way more prevalent in the American education system.
I agree 100%. They really dropped the ball on...
You know what the Incas did really doesn't have a whole lot of effect on what's happening in today's world.
I agree.
What happened in World War II, Vietnam, every war since then, has a hell of an effect on what's happening today.
For sure.
You know, whether it's big oil, you name your big business.
Yeah.
On what's happening now. The Incas didn't have a whole lot to do with that.
Right.
The Egyptian pyramids are neat. Right. Didn't have a whole lot to do with what's happening now.
Right.
Teach us about the other stuff. The stuff that's relevant to us, the American history of it.
Yeah.
And what's going on, and let's get into that.
Maybe somebody my age would be more apt to shake that Vietnam veteran's hand if he knew what he went through. But we were never even taught about it. So you don't think nothing about it. It's like, well, that guy was in Vietnam, but you don't.
You and I are spoiled in the fact that our dads were involved in that, and they respected that, and they instilled that in us. But to the average kid whose parents weren't involved in that,
right?
Just some war that they've heard about, probably didn't get to in their textbook because the school year wasn't long enough.
Yep.
And all they hear is the bad things because the bad things always come to the top first, right?
Yep.
Those guys were baby killers, whatever, blah, 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 which is the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah. The goddamn hippies should have been shot in this country.
We should have taken care of that then. Can you imagine? I mean, of course, I guess we're living it now, so I can't imagine it to a certain level. But I'm like, those guys went through hell and back, defending their country, defending freedom on foreign soil, so that we have the right to sit here today, and then make it all the way back after serving their tour, 1 tour, 10 tours, however many tours they did, only to be spit on, stuff thrown at this other by a bunch of no count.
Who burnt their draft cards.
Yeah, who burnt their draft cards.
Were too big of a pussy to go.
Candy-ass, shitheads. And then we just let it slide in the media. Well, they've got a point. No, they don't have a point. What they have is disrespect for their country and the people fighting for it.
Exactly.
I have a real problem with people that disrespect veterans. That nothing irritates me more than people that are so willing to live under the blanket of freedom, but are a little bit upset about who wove the blanket.
Yep. They don't want no skin in the game.
Yeah.
I never realized this because, once again, I was never taught in school. I didn't know till 7, 8 years ago. So, the people that burnt their draft cards, refused to go to the war or whatever, you's automatically a felon.
Yeah.
Well, that means you can't vote, right? Yeah. When you're a felon? Well, Jimmy Carter pardoned all the Vietnam draft dodgers.
Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Another one of your fine works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. For those of you younger guys, Jimmy Carter was the biggest piece of shit that ever walked the face of the earth.
One of the worst presidents to ever.
By far.
Yeah.
He was a fucking joke. I mean,
Can you imagine if they hadn't screwed Reagan out of being the nominee in '76, which I think might have been George Bush's deal, but I'd have to go back and research that.
Typical Bush family.
They should have ran Reagan in '76. Can you imagine having no Jimmy Carter and a younger, more vibrant Reagan?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yep. And I'm still pissed at Minnesota for the record. 49 state landslide. Yeah. Minnesota couldn't pull it off.
Thanks for nothing, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Walter Mondale, really?
Yeah.
Come on now. Now, granted, we're from Illinois, but we, in our defense, our vote doesn't count. We just print off however. We show the country how to do that shit. We've been doing it since the '60s. It's about time the rest of you guys caught on board. I mean, how slow of learners are you?
How fucked up are you when Illinois even votes for Reagan and you couldn't pull it off?
Yeah, we're like, man, we can't print that many ballots. Our budget isn't that good. We don't have that much paper. Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and let Reagan slide on this when he's got it. There's no reason to waste our time on this.
So, Minnesota will let you slide, but that should have been a 50-state landslide, not a 49-state.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That's all right. We forgot all about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll let it go. Not. Yeah.
But Jimmy was a joke. Yeah. And it's even worse as you look back.
But he builds houses for other people, Tony. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking
sure he got interest, to 20%. But
Yeah, that's just what we need in this country. You can't tell me interest had to go to 20% to solve the problem. I mean, I think that's a little excessive.
Well, I tell you what Jimmy Carter did was give farmers a bad name.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we don't put another farmer in charge. That guy really screwed the pooch. Yeah. It's no good at all.
But it's even disheartening to me looking back, when we were 18 and getting ready to vote, at the time, you think like George Bush Jr., because that was one of the first elections we could vote in, and you really thought, man, this guy, he's the real deal. This is who you want to vote for. And we all did. And I'm not saying he wasn't better than the alternative, but looking back now, it's like, I don't care if you walked here with $1,000 and said to vote for Jeb Bush or any, fuck the entire Bush family. Seriously, they are a bunch of crooks, no good son of a bitches.
Oh, I was pretty proud of W at the time.
Yep.
And
we all were.
Given the people he ran against, I'd vote for him again.
Yep.
But long story short, pretty evil deal.
Yeah. When you dig back,
when you're running against,
the
haughty John Kerry.
Yeah.
Hey, John, why the long face? Another proud Vietnam veteran on that deal. Yeah, a real stand-up American on that. Throw your medals away and protest. Yeah.
Which remember the medals that he actually didn't even win. Yeah. He filed the paperwork and got them, and then threw them over the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, real badass, John.
Yeah.
Thank goodness your wife does your work for you.
Yeah.
You've never done anything in your entire life.
No different John McCain, this big fucking hero. That guy was a piece of shit. I don't care. You can flame me for all I don't care. You can say he was a war veteran, this and that. That fucking guy got more people killed than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do your research.
He was a shitty pilot. He should have been court-martialed a long time before he got shot down in Vietnam.
Yep. How many fucking people did he kill on his stupid little jet stunt?
Exactly. That's my point. But he knew the right people, and his
dad?
His dad and his
was an admiral.
grandpa, I think, were high up in the military.
Yeah. Yep. He was a piece of shit. And I'll admit, I voted for the guy.
I voted for him too, because he was hot dogging when he got shot down. If he'd done his freaking job, he wouldn't have got shot down.
Yep.
But then he wouldn't be able to be Songbird John.
Yep.
So.
Which he truly was a hold your nose and vote. I mean, I damn sure didn't want Obama.
Yeah.
McCain, goddamn sure wasn't my first pick. But once again, he done it. Biden has proved it. And there was one other one we were talking about here a while back, that as long as you keep running for president, once you get to like your fifth or sixth time, you automatically get the nomination, you know.
Well, and Republicans are really good about that. Well, it's his turn, you know. It's like, you know, what always cracked me up about John McCain was like the people that didn't like Bush were kind of backing John McCain. I'm like, you guys remember that this dipshit lost to Bush, right?
Right.
Like, he wasn't good enough to beat the guy you didn't like.
Yeah.
He's not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was his turn. It's like Bob Dole. Bob Dole, probably not a bad guy. Don't know him, didn't you know?
Right.
But, well, it's his turn. You know he's going to lose.
Exactly.
Why do we have to run Old Man River? I mean, John McCain couldn't answer a simple question. How many houses do you own? If you can't answer that question, I don't want you for president. At least lie to me.
Yeah.
Make something up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a hard... Pick a number 1 through 20.
Exactly.
I'm not asking you to do complex calculus here.
Right.
Just pick a number.
Yeah.
Pick a number and be like, oh, shit, I forgot if somebody questions on it later.
Right.
I mean, hell, politicians do it all the time. Nope. I don't really know. You want to be in charge of the world's largest economy in the midst of an economic crisis, and you can't answer how many houses do you own?
Yeah. It is unbelievable.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't get elected. Yeah. It'd have been a damn crime if you would have at that point. At least Obama was willing to lie his way through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And then after that whole deal, then we get through with McCain and Obama's 4 years. Then, we got to run Mitt Romney.
Yeah. Give a shit. Vote for Mitt. Yeah.
Yep.
Good old Mitt. Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. He should have been the nominee the first time. I sure as hell wasn't a fan of him the second time. But
But, you know, literally Biden has ran for president, I don't know how many times.
Since the beginning of time.
I mean, the laughing stock of the Democrat
Party.
He
was FDR's running mate originally, wasn't he?
Yeah, he probably was.
I mean, shit, man. The guy's been running for office forever. Fortunately, he didn't do anything the previous 47 years because he sure as to hell didn't do anything positive now.
Yep.
But
could never muster up enough to get out of the primaries, but by God, he got more votes than any president in U.S. history.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure did. Finally found his niche market. Yeah. Yep. Finally got him.
Yep. Can't put two sentences together, but by God.
I mean, sure, I plagiarized my way through college and got in trouble for that. Had to drop out a time or two, but this time I'm the highest vote getter in the history of the world.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Come on, man. But I mean, it's laughable. You can't hate the guy because he's literally too dumb to do anything about it.
I will admit, I have made it. What did he get elected? It'll be a year in November. And I've yet to hear the man speak. Now, I've caught little snippets, like if I'm watching the evening news.
Well, he doesn't speak.
Well, yeah. But as far as...
closet in the basement.
I refuse to listen to politics anymore. I ain't listening to any of it. I'm done with it. I could care less. Let her fucking burn. I look at this country as like an alcoholic. It will not change until you hit complete fucking rock bottom where it's do or die. And that's just the track we're on. And
unfortunately, you are correct.
And I don't think it's going to get fixed in my lifetime. And God only knows what my kids are going to see, but...
Yeah,
it's too far gone.
At some level, I almost feel bad for having kids. I know what you mean. I love my kids to death. But boy, I've dealt them a shit hand.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody that's young and thinking about having kids, but you got to look around a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, you know, the shitbags in this country breed like rabbits, and they have kids all the time, and they keep voting themselves raises and this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
and you know, that's a statistical fact. The better off the more affluent you are, the less kids you have.
Yep,
and that we're reaching a tipping point on that. You know,
I'm going to say this once, and I may get flack for this. Don't care. It's my podcast. You don't like it, turn it off. Why do we have to cater to the poor people? You're better off to run the poor people completely the fuck out of your state. I'm serious. All they do is drag it down. Am I not right? If I have to support my household plus yours, what does that do for our economy? Nothing. So don't cater to the fucking poor. Now I get it. You have poor people in society. You just have that aspect, but don't lure them to your state.
I'm going to quote Michael Jordan. If he can say, "Do you have any change?" he can say, "Welcome to McDonald's."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there aren't some people that we need to help out for a time.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with helping somebody out.
I'm the same way.
But we have people that are generationally.
Exactly. have never done nothing.
Have never done anything. Their parents didn't do anything. Their grandparents didn't do anything. And they're not doing anything. Their kids aren't going to do anything other than cash in.
Exactly.
And that is bullshit.
It is.
And there's a solution for that, and that's quit giving them shit. We're seeing it right now with this COVID deal. Oh, well, nobody's going back to work. You know why they're not going back to work? Because you keep sending them a check.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pay their rent, and they can't get kicked out. Cut that shit off, they'll go back to work.
Illinois has been the laughing stock of the entire U.S. between that, New York, California. You know what I mean? It's them three. It's always in the, we got more outbound migration than inbound, because it's a fucking
Why would
shithole.
you move here? I would. Yeah. If it wasn't for farming, I'd leave, and I'm thinking about doing it anyway.
Right. So you want to turn the economy around? Cut off all the welfare to the fucking poor people that have been generationally stuck in this rut. Because guess what? Then they're going to leave.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to pay them no more.
Yeah.
Let them go to Indiana, Iowa, wherever. I don't care. Take your pick.
I don't care where they go. Yeah.
I'm just sick of catering to poor people. I know that sounds awful, but read between the lines of what I'm saying. There's always poor people. Some people have bad luck. I get it. But you don't have bad luck for 75 years.
Yeah, exactly.
There is help wanted signs everywhere in this fucking state.
Yeah, everywhere right now you can get a job. Yeah. But we continue to go down that path over and over and over again.
Yep. And it will not change.
It will not change. And unfortunately, the people that leave this state go to red states and try to get them to change the rules and the laws to make it back into a blue state. Because they have to put the same shit they're putting up with here.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
That is the bad part of, in California is a prime example, in New York, Illinois, all these states, you almost need an electoral college in these states.
Yes.
We get fucked so bad on everything.
It is over the top.
Chicago runs this state. L.A. runs California. New York City runs New York.
Yeah. New York's a pretty rural place, other than some shitbag on the coast.
Exactly. Yeah. We have zero say in anything in this state. None.
Yep.
It's terrible. Look who just walked in. It's the Mrs. Growing Corn. So, drunkie, tell us what you think about the feminine movement. You just jumped in here. You're blindsided. You've been upstairs. What do you think about the feminine movement in America from a woman's perspective? Tell us. Fill us in.
I feel like I'm blindsided, and I feel like I need an introduction, actually.
Everybody knows who you are, so...
Hello, Mrs. Growncorn is joining the podcast.
Okay, yeah, whatever. So we moved on to that. Quit dodging the question.
Okay.
And answer it.
Could you repeat the question?
How do you feel about the feminine movement in America as a woman?
I feel like this is a really hard question for me to answer. Okay. Not to offend the women that are
Nobody
listening.
on this podcast cares, so just blurt it out. You wouldn't believe half the shit we said before you got here.
Mm-hmm. I know. I missed half the podcast, so I'm literally just diving in right here.
So quit being a politician and dodging the question and answer it.
I disagree with it.
Exactly.
I think that where the feminist movement was coming from to begin with was a great thing, but I think that where we have come from... Sorry, we have to adjust the mic. Evidently, I'm not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, man's got to do it for you.
Oh, a man's got to do the job. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Point number one. I'm okay with a man doing that job for me.
Okay.
So, I feel like it's horse crap.
It's horse shit.
Yeah, you can say it for me.
Yeah.
I think if a woman wants to stay home and take care of her kids, that's an okay thing. And I think too many times today a woman is made to feel guilty because she is not a breadwinner. That's my statement. There, I said it. I'm done.
You're over here like cowering down.
I'm not cowering down.
You do realize the vast majority, probably everybody that's listening to this is going to agree with you.
No, I don't know that, but...
They are. They wouldn't be following me if they did.
Do I think it was a little absurd that a woman couldn't get a checking account at one point in time?
Sure.
I think that's completely absurd.
I think that's crap. I won't disagree. Do I think it's also crap that women want to rule the world and they want to be in charge of all this and they got anything that a man has, they have to have it too. But then by the same token, well, they want the door open for them. They want the men to do this, men to do that. You can't have strong men and be ruled by women at the same time.
I
Make
agree.
up your mind. Pick one path or the other. I'm like, you look back in history, it's like, watch the Dick Van Dyke Show. Looked like to me, that was a pretty good life. Now you have to work and do all that same shit.
I agree.
It's just like the rest of America, corporate America. Okay, these 3 people quit, so we're not going to hire replacements for them. We're going to make you do all those 3 people's jobs. That's what women signed up for. We were doing our job, but you have something we want. So now we want that job,
right.
And we still have to do all this other shit.
Exactly.
Now we're hiring and no offense, but we're hiring somebody to raise our kids because we're too busy doing our own shit, trying to support the lifestyle that we think we need. We don't have time to take care of that.
Couldn't have said it better.
Because we got to have it all.
Literally can't. You took the words out of my mouth, Nick. You literally took the words out of my mouth. No,
It's the first time a woman has ever agreed with anything I said, for the record.
No, I think that when the feminist movement started out, it was a good thing. You know, we wanted the ability to vote. We wanted the ability to have our own checking account.
Time out. I'm going to say this because you're my wife. This will really piss people off, but that's all right. We like controversy here. That's when this country went right down the shitter, is when women had the right to vote. They vote based on feelings, not on logic. And it's true. They do. Agree with me.
Statistically, if you went back and
looked. What say you? What say you? Am I right or am I...
I cannot agree or disagree.
Nah, it's because you know.
If you go back, here's what always cracks me up about the feminist movement, right? Okay, on your voting thing. Bill Clinton. The most chauvinistic, treat women like shit president we've ever had, next to maybe Sniffy Joe. Well, Sniffy Joe just smells them. He doesn't do anything with them because he's old. But without the women vote, Bill Clinton doesn't get elected.
Nope.
But they all voted for him because, well, he's handsomer more than the next guy. But he treats you like shit. He'd probably rape you if given the chance. Yeah. But hey, we'll go vote for him anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's my issue with that.
I don't
Not saying you shouldn't have the right to vote, just saying make better choices.
Yeah.
I didn't make that choice. Don't look at me that way. I think that for me personally, coming from where I am, I'm trying to dodge all the people that are going to come at me at this. Women wanted the option to have their own checking accounts, to make the decision for themselves. But at the same time, I think in fighting for that, we forgot that... Sorry, they're adjusting my mic. I'm distracted. Anyway, we forgot that as a woman, we can't do it all. We can't have the business job and raise our family. We can't have the work life that we want to have and still be the mother that we want to be. And I'm going to totally throw people out here right now, but Michelle Obama said it best. She was like, you can't give 100% to everything. You can't give 100% to being a mom and being a working woman in this world.
Okay, you listen to Michelle Obama, so we're going to have to ask you off the podcast at this point.
No, but she's...
in her defense, Michelle Obama may not be a woman.
This is true.
So maybe she has a point.
No, but what I'm saying is, one of the things I agree with that she said was, she was like, you can't have it all. As a woman, you cannot have it all. You cannot be 100% the best mom you can be and 100% the best working woman you can be. You have to divide your things. And you can divide your things and give 50% to your job, 50% to your kids, 70, whatever way you want to divide it. But you can't be the best mom you can be and the best worker you can be. You can't have it all. So you have to decide what's most important to you. For me, I want to be the best mom I can be. So I'm not going to go for the big corporate career and do all those things. I'm going to stay home with my kids.
Get drunk on the weekend. Yeah.
Maybe, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to give 150% to my kids because that's what's important to me.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that if you decide to give 150% to your career, that's a bad thing.
Now, see, you're getting all emotional here. You're taking a step
I'm not
farther.
getting emotional.
I'm just saying that's how women roll. We just throw it out like, fuck it, who cares? Just go with it.
You always try.
There's
FYI, he's trying to throw me under the bus again. Again.
There's plenty of women that are in the corporate world that are doing a great job. Mm-hmm. But women are designed differently than men for a very specific reason by God himself, almost like he planned it out in advance.
Almost like he knew what he was doing when he was like, I'm going to demand this way.
Different.
Yes.
But unfortunately, and you can't blame the women 100% for it. The men have let it happen. Because let's face it, we don't want to fight with the women. Because there's no winning in fighting with a woman. You're always going to lose. I've never won an argument with my wife yet. And I don't intend to. I try every day, but I'm not going to win one of those.
You try to lose.
One of those. I try to lose graciously.
You try to lose.
I try to lose graciously, but even that's not working. But they always want what someone. Human nature is to want what someone else has to a certain degree. But at some point in time, you have to realize that things are this way for a reason. This is what you should focus on, and go on with it. And other people are better at this. And unfortunately, we're not in that place these days.
Okay, so I'm going to graciously disagree. So I think it has become one of those things where a woman thinks that she should excel at all of these things, but she physically can't. And so because of the feminist movement, she feels like she should be excelling at all these things, but she can't because it's just not physically possible. We can't be everything to everybody at all the times.
But you want to know what else has made that worse? Social media.
I agree.
You got the woman that works in town and literally sees her kids 10 minutes a day, but she wants to put it all on Facebook that she's the greatest mom in the world and look what I done. And she took one selfie with her kid. Yeah. And then he was off playing his tablet, and she didn't see him the rest of the night. But from the little glimpses, it's just like...
It looks like she is whatever. And so everybody else sees that, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at her. She's working 50 hours a week, and she is killing it. I need to be killing it, and here I am doing my 30-hour job a day or whatever.
That's actually my secret to TikTok. That's why I edit all them videos very meticulously to show how much I have things together. And people just revel over it. They just love it.
The thing is, and this is my message actually to all the moms out there, no mom has it together. No mom knows what they're doing. No mom even has a fraction of the idea of what they should be. We are all winging it. We're doing the best we can, but that's literally all you can do. And I think, and like, I've gotten to the point now in my life, I'm old enough now. I'm 37, I'm an old lady, whatever. I don't care. I'm doing the best for my kids, and that's all I can do. I don't care what Kelly's doing. I don't care what all my other friends are doing. I'm literally doing the best I can every day. And that's all that matters.
Okay. Gotcha. So are you doing the best you can every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's all we can ask for.
And when I fail,
you get drunk.
Failing like every single other person in the entire world.
I'm such a failure. Get me a case of beer. So I do. And no, my wife's not an alcoholic. She just drinks heavily.
Tony, stop.
Honest to God, my wife's like me. We drink on the weekends. I very seldom ever drink beer through the week. Not saying I haven't or don't. Very seldom, though, ever will you see me drink through the week. Hardly ever. And if I do, I'm one or two, or that night, then people from Georgia come up here a week or two ago. That was like on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But generally, like if I have to work the next day, I don't, like, that's why I don't drink on Sundays. I don't do the whole Sunday fun day. How many times do you think I've drank on a Sunday since we've been married? Yeah. And I'm not talking
honestly.
I'm not talking like if Monday was Labor Day where you didn't have nothing to do.
Right. But even then, you don't.
No.
And neither do I.
Well,
it's just kind
I
of.
don't like to drink on Sundays.
And I have nothing against those who do that.
No, I don't either.
By all means, go ahead, do your thing, whatever. I'm fine with that. It's just one of those things where I'm setting myself up for the next day. I'm like, well.
Yeah. For sure.
So.
Yep.
That was a deep conversation we had.
It was. You took it to the next level.
You guys asked me to take it to the next level.
What's your thoughts on poor people? Before you got here, my thoughts were run poor people out of the state. We don't need poor people in our state. Do you feel the same?
What?
We're trying to export them.
What did you
We're exporting
say?
them to California.
All I said was, Why does governments always want to cater to poor people? They fucking contribute nothing. All they are is a drag on society. So run them out of your state.
I disagree heavily with that. I think it is a mindset. It's not poor people in general. It's a mindset of people that want to live off the state.
Hence poor people.
No, my family was poor, but we worked our butts off the entire time we were poor.
I mean, yeah, that's where you're taking it to a new level. We were talking welfare poor people. People that
just live off the state.
Yeah.
Consistently, generationally. Live off the state.
Yeah, I'm not saying run somebody out of the state that's honest,
hardworking. We haven't got rid of them. We just don't need any more of them in Illinois. We're full.
Yeah. I'm not saying if you make $36,000 a year, or pick your number, but you're not on welfare and go to work every day. I'm not saying we got to get rid of you. I'm saying the people that literally contribute nothing but take welfare, run them out of the state. Why would you want them here?
Well, I think it's a general thing, though. Why would you want them at all?
So you're saying we should execute people who are...
No, I'm not saying that. I did not.
Well, see, you
I did not say execute people.
That's
FYI.
kind of the takeaway I got.
No. I'm confused by what you're saying. I want to clarify that.
We all know. We don't have to...
No,
we don't have to get technical on this.
I think that welfare is not a bad thing. For people who are looking for a bridge.
In the short term, I got no problem with that.
I think welfare should have a cap. We set the cap at whether it's 50, 60 grand, and I'm not saying per year, I'm saying lifetime.
Right. I think that people who are going through a hard time, sometimes you need help. I agree.
I have
help.
no problem with
Absolutely.
That.
You need something to help bridge the gap.
To me,
I think when you use that bridge to become your entire lifetime, that's where the problem comes in.
But to me, look at technology nowadays, and I'm being serious. We have vast amounts of technology and information. The government can track literally every step I take if they wanted to. I don't care. They can.
And I'm
not saying they do, but they can.
They do.
So why, if you live 3 miles from a McDonald's in a city and they're hiring, should I still have to pay you welfare? Get your ass down to McDonald's. I don't care if you don't want to flip burgers. They're hiring. So get your ass down there and flip some burgers. Because to me, if there's job openings in your immediate area, I should not have to pay you welfare. I don't give a shit if that's not what you don't want to do. I don't want to clean out fucking grain bins, but guess what? That's where the money is.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
You have to do it.
Okay, devil's advocate. So let's say I have a family of 5, and if I go to work at McDonald's, I can't afford to get to there on time, get back on time, and take care of my family.
All right, so what do you say? I'll be double devil's advocate. So that means you can never have a job then, because now I can't get to McDonald's. Next, I can't get to Rural King. Then I can't get to Walmart. So that tells me that no job out there you could ever go to because you got 5 kids.
I'll be triples devil's advocate. When did you have these 5 kids based on when you had a job? Did you have a job and then you had 5 kids, or were you a piece of shit before that and then had 5 kids?
Good question. Good question.
I want to clarify something. I was playing devil's advocate.
So am I.
But I'm just saying,
because that's the same excuse they always give. I can't work here because of this, and I can't do this.
Right.
So then that tells me you can never have a job then.
But that is their mindset. And that's what you have to...
Because they're generational.
That's what you have to think into, though. That's their mindset. They're like, oh, well, I have 5 kids. I can't work 8 to 2 because I have to pick up my kid from school.
But guess what?
Whatever. I'm not disagreeing with you by any means, but that is their mindset, and that's how you get hooked on the welfare.
Right. I'm not talking about mindset, though. Okay, so here this is my this is my utopia, and this is going to sound crazy.
I agree.
I'm going to be a freedom dictator. So I rule with an iron fist, but all I do is promote freedom with that iron fist.
I like where this is going.
So we live in town, pretend, and you're my neighbor, and you come over bitching and raising hell because my neighbor didn't mow his yard and he's devaluing my property. You get executed in the town square tomorrow. Fuck you. That's my property. If I never want to mow it again, I never have to. It's mine. You don't get to say anything about my property. You can't work at McDonald's because you got 5 kids. Fuck it. You're done. You're out of here. Because that tells me you can't work at Walmart. You can't work nowhere. That's what it tells me. Because that's going to be your excuse every time from now on. So you're useless to me. Get out. So I want to rule with an iron fist, but in the name of freedom. Not like you have to do this, you have to do this. It's like the minute you fuck with anybody else, you're done. You're out. This is all about freedom.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying that is the mindset they have.
I know, but see, now you're getting too technical. Because this is the...
God.
Tell me how much...
You asked my opinion.
Tell me how much sense this makes. Every government, local, state, federal, they all promote going green, right? Do as much as you can to reduce your carbon footprint. Am I not right?
Yes.
Okay. Every small town in this community has an ordinance in town saying you have to do what?
Mow your yard.
Mow your yard. What is the number one fucking polluter in your household? Your fucking lawnmower. So now, which is it? I have to mow my yard, but I have to cause pollution. So which where are we going here?
I don't disagree with you. I was just giving the...
No, you're off. I'm just saying this is where I am as a freedom dictator. I don't care if I own a house here and you own the one next to me and you want to turn yours into a nuclear waste dump. You own it. You got the deed to it free and clear. Pile nuclear warheads here and fucking buried. I don't care. Your business stops where my property line starts.
FYI, please be at Growing 2020's neighbor. He would like you to plant nuclear waste plants next to your house.
I don't care what you do. I don't. It makes no difference to me.
I do too, actually. This is why we are married. I don't care what my neighbor does. Do whatever you want.
Unlike the neighbors we got that are anti-livestock. But...
Mine are really good mow yards, regular, so it doesn't really matter. We actually try to sync it up.
Here's my thing, and I'm just
mow the same day so it all looks good.
I'm just going to be a really crappy person. I don't care if my neighbor lets their yard get 5 inches too tall. I could care less.
It's like I tell everybody,
who cares?
You devalue my property by doing this, this, and this. It's like, no, you devalued your own property by stopping in Illinois. Sorry.
Exactly. I mean, if you want to up the value of your house, go renovate your kitchen. Go revamp your house. I can assure you, if you mow your yard, whether it's 3 inches or 2 inches, it does not matter that much. It doesn't matter to me. I could care less. When I'm cruising by trying to find a house to buy, I don't care if your yard looks nice or not.
Because here's the other deal.
I care what's on the inside, not
you're
the outside.
Not going to be the star of curb appeal.
But now
I know I'm not.
I do want to let the record show that there was a time where Growing Corn had...
He cared about curb appeal.
Yeah.
He did.
I did.
I actually
his yard was his
screenshotted.
pride.
I took
and it's like, somebody's going to stab Carolyn, or I'm going to get the yard mowed. Yard looks good.
Yeah.
She won't bleed out. I got time.
I'm guilty.
Okay.
I took the yard into the 10th power.
I'm going to dive in right here. I actually took a screenshot of my Facebook memories today because there was a picture of you fertilizing our front yard when we lived in town. And I was like, what Tony does on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Did it have the good stripes in it then? Did it look like
it was actually right after we had tilled it up. We had just replanted it.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, this is what my life has become. You know, here we are.
But see,
But this is where I want to interject. You had nothing else to do on your weekends. You were like, well, I'm bored as heck. I have nothing going on. Well, I guess I'm going to till up the entire front yard and replant it and make it look into a golf course ring.
And I did.
And you did. And it was freaking amazing. I couldn't even step on the lawn. Me and my kids could not play on the lawn because no, we were going to mess it up.
Exactly.
But it was beautiful. It really was.
And you got the house sold, so I think curb appeal has an advantage.
It had nothing to do with that.
This is where I wish I had enough fuck you money that I could challenge all this shit. Move to town, never mow your yard, and when the town gets on, you'd be like, no, I'm going green. And I found a nest of 3 rabbits, and I do not want to harm the rabbits. So I refuse to mow my yard. You can't find me. And we're moving on. And just see what happens. But I don't have that kind of money, so I can't do it. But
we can pretend.
Exactly.
Let's pretend.
But all I'm getting at is you can't have it both ways. Like I say, you have to mow your yard, but yeah, you got to reduce your carbon footprint. Well, which is it?
I agree with that. I will agree with that.
That's just one example.
As much as I hate to, I will agree with that.
Basically, when
I don't like agreeing with you at all because you and I are.
When I'm the freedom dictator,
with you.
And that's what I call myself, the freedom dictator. When you come to me with a problem, bitching about somebody else, you automatically get executed. I want to hear it. Ain't none of your business. Don't worry about your neighbor. You're done.
So on the lesser side of that, I do agree. Because I feel like people just need to mind their own damn business.
Exactly.
But by the same,
Pardon
by
my
the
language,
same
but mind your own business. Why do you care if your neighbor's yard is 3 feet tall and he has 10 cars in his yard? Who cares? Let him live the way he wants to.
I'll play Jesus advocate on this.
No. You can't do that.
Is your neighbor like unable to mow your yard at this point in time? Maybe I'll help your neighbor out. I mean, circumstantially, maybe you ought to look into it. Just, you know,
In the
depends.
grand
My
scheme of
neighbor is
things, that's
helping.
like 0.03%.
For sure it is, but
It's just like your whole McDonald's scenario earlier. It's a small percentage.
We had a situation like that where in my parents' house when I grew up, neighbor down the road was having some health issues, couldn't mow his yard, town was riding his butt. It's like, dude's like, he's old. I mean, like, and he had a old Alice Chalmers, some Atco contraption.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I know who you're talking about.
Having trouble. He just needs a little help. It wasn't that he wasn't financially able to do it. He just physically wasn't able. At that point in time, he was in the hospital. He was not doing well. His yard gets too tall. He comes home. He's got to find this, that, and the other. You know, it's maybe somebody just sneaks over there and mows his yard. I was gone on vacation one time. I come home. My yard was tall. I start mowing. My neighbor comes over, starts helping me mow. A month later, he's on vacation. He gets home. I start helping him mow. We just knock it out.
Perfect.
No big deal, you know. But so I mean, there's always circumstances or whatnot.
This is what I think we should do on the mowing situation. We find a way to turn grass into a cash crop. Because if it's like farm ground, people would be beating down your door to mow your yard. Yep. And then it'd be like, who will be the BTO in town who can have the most yards out of anybody?
You're on something.
And we don't have to do nothing. We'll drink beer.
There you go.
I'm gonna throw something crazy out there. This is where being a neighbor has gone way out of whack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you see your neighbor struggling to mow their yard, why the heck would you not help them?
I can tell you why
I do.
would.
But people don't do that in this day and age.
I do.
You should. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you do that. But they're like, oh, well,
sometimes it's just I don't want to go back in the house.
Well, my neighbor's grass got tall, but he kind of pissed me off.
Call the mayor.
I'm going to carry him, and yeah.
Call the mayor.
You know,
3-inch height limit, and he's at 3 1/4.
Right.
Fine him.
This is where people have gotten really
pussified.
Pardon my language. They've gotten really shitty.
This is the pussified edition.
They've gotten really crappy about it.
Look what our neighbor's done to us.
I know that, but we're not talking about that.
I'll fucking talk about them all day long. I'll tell anybody about it.
Anyhow.
Come on, Beck.
Yeah. Beck, you know.
Anyhow, this is where people they no longer care at all. They're like, oh, well, my neighbor's struggling, but it kind of pisses me off. His neighbor's 2 inches, his lawn's 2 inches
we went down
tall.
this path before. But I'm going to say it again.
It's a moral thing now.
Why is it in this day and age, and maybe it's always been this way, because obviously I have only lived for a certain amount of time. But why is it, especially in this day and age, that nobody wants to help out somebody else locally? Because they might get ahead a little bit. Mm-hmm. You'll buy everything you can from Jeff Bezos, and I'm guilty. I buy shit off Amazon too. You'll buy stuff off them. You'll drive 3 counties over to mow your great aunt's nephew's dog's cousin's husband's yard.
I'll go to the Case IH dealer that's owned. They got 15 locations for an air filter that's $25. But I'll go to McCormick Diesel and you want 27. I'm like, fuck that. I can drive up there for $2.
Right,
exactly. And I forgot about it. You know, it happens all the time.
Yep. Yes,
it's infuriating.
I agree.
You know,
everybody has forgotten that. There's little people behind that. There's the local people behind that. They don't care.
It's
they don't
because
care
there's
anymore.
no morals. I've said it 100 times.
And I agree with you.
This guy
100%.
that's farming, and I'm not knocking big farmers. I'm just saying the guy who's farming 5,000 acres can't be content. So his neighbor who's farming 250, if he can get 150 that away from him, he will go do it. Yeah. Because he's not content at 5,000. There's no moral fabric behind
Never mind
it.
the fact that when he knocks that person off, he's literally catastrophizing the whole family's farm.
That's what I mean.
He's going to put them out. But he's like, well, I want this 150 acres.
Because
so
nobody can have competition anymore. It's I have to destroy the competition. Yep. We can't just be competition, I have to shut the other person down. Yep. And that's just the way it is.
I know, and I totally agree. And I think
that's not just farming, that's trucking, that's
every single thing in the entire world right now. Like, they're literally, not to be dramatic, there are no moral values whatsoever as far as looking at your fellow American people. There's none. Nope. There's just like, I'm in it for me and me only, and screw everybody else.
There's no loyalty to anything.
No. There's never and that's where I think, excuse me, that's where I think people fail. We're failing each other so much because we just don't care. We're all in it for ourselves.
I mean, look around. Every small town in America goes through this. You know, okay, you've got a grocery store, a restaurant, whatever that's locally owned. Oh, well, we don't really want to support it, but if you could, like, sponsor our kids' ball team, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll get right on that about the second that you spend any money here.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, I'll look into it. Until then, I don't know.
But nobody wants to do that. They're like, can you please give me money for this?
But
I'm going to go scout this by the cheapest person over here. And I'm like, no. So, yes, you may have to spend $100 extra, $500 extra dollars to buy local, but they're the people that will have your back 5 years from now, and people don't want to do that.
Have you ever noticed the other flip side to that is, and in every community in America is like this, you know who the wealthy people are in your community. I mean, it's part of living in a small town. So the guy who comes in who literally works his nuts off, but don't have a pot to piss in yet, just because he hasn't made it yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody, it takes time when you're starting out. Yeah. He comes in, and this part is $28, and he puts it on your counter, and you say, okay, I need $28. But the millionaire who comes in, you're like, 20, all I got is $26. Yeah, that's close enough. Good enough. You know what I mean? They always give the discount and the good shit to the people who don't necessarily need it. They really jump up and down wanting their business, and they get the benefit of it. But the guy who really could have used the benefit of it, they're just like, no, you owe me $28. If you can't got it, then go fuck yourself. Seriously, I see it every day.
No, I'm not in this.
It's like this guy could have paid double, and it wouldn't have bothered him in the least. And he gets the discount, but the guy who really needed the discount, you're like, nope, you full price, right? Giving it to you.
No, I'm not going to agree with that.
So, I don't know. There's just no moral fabric. There's none. And that's why we've talked on a previous podcast. I can be closer with the Chuck Weldons or the people who live 150 miles from me, because they're not going to come in here and use what I'm doing or what I'm saying or whatever to try to rent ground away from me.
There's no competition.
Right.
You can just share ideas and go back and forth because there's no backstabbing on that.
Nobody. So if I share an idea with Chuck Golden tomorrow, it's not like he's going to come around and scoop some big deal out away from me. You know,
it's no different than the situation I'm in, and I've explained it 100 times on TikTok what it is with my farming situation. And I guarantee you, the minute that something happened to Kevin, then I'm a no good piece of shit. Well, yeah, goddamn, got everything he had fucking handed to him, and I haven't. He's never once gave me an acre of ground. He's never gave me any machinery. He's never gave me nothing. All he done was provided land the opportunity to farm it. I still have to pay rent on it. You know, we give fair market value. You know, he's done nothing more than lay it here and say, hey, man, go for it.
He gave you an opportunity.
He gave me an opportunity. He didn't shovel shit across.
But you're still working your ass off for it.
To do work.
That's what I mean. But that'll be the first. I will guarantee you, as soon as something happens 15 years from now or whatever, he passes away, whatever, that's going to be, well, goddamn, he had everything fucking gave to him. And that's not the case. I have had nothing given to me, and there is going to be nothing given to me.
No, but what will happen is, because he had it in his heart to give you a chance, everyone's going to be like, oh, well, he had it all handed to him.
But
and it's like,
the same people that would say
you worked your butt off for that, and you worked for several years for that. And yes, it was a huge opportunity, and we are not disputing that. But it wasn't like he just was like, here.
Here, you can just have all my land and all my machinery.
It's yours, just free do whatever you want. Yeah. No, You work for that.
Exactly.
And you're still working for
and
that.
The same
you're
people,
going to work
the
for
same
that.
people that will bitch about that would be the same people if Kevin picked up the phone tomorrow and called and said, hey, you want to rent all my land? They'd be all over it. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't I? I mean,
yeah. I agree. I think it's one of those things, though. It's not to throw farmers under the bus by any means, but I think it's a competition thing between...
It's little dick syndrome is what it is. I said it on
everyone's
TikTok
always like, oh, well, if you're doing better than they are, they immediately have to dispute why you're doing better. Like, right. Well, he's only doing better because this guy gave him a chance that I didn't have, or he's only farming this many acres because, well, he did more.
Seriously, when I was a kid, when everybody got done with harvest, if it, I'm not saying you went to some stranger, but if it was a good friend of yours, if you were done with harvest, and he might have only had 60 acres left.
Yeah.
So you took your combine over there because there was maybe bad weather coming in. You helped him out. You just worked one day with 2 combines. You got it done. And nobody said a word about getting paid. He'd always offer to pay you, but you wouldn't take it. Yeah. And you moved on. And maybe the next year he was helping you, whatever. But nowadays it's like, no, you run to the landlord. Well, goddamn, he can't even get it done. Why does he need to farm anymore? I mean, he can't get it done with what he's got now. Why does he need more? And that's just the way it is. It's too cutthroat. There's no moral fabric.
Once again, it's a moral thing, I think.
It is.
It's where back in the day, you just helped your freaking neighbor out. You blame the women. Damn it, Nick. Damn it.
I have
Pardon the language.
Well, you know that guy that was farming big and just wanted to quit for the day.
Yeah.
But his wife was ragging his butt. And
I disagree. I
gotta go to work, and
I can assure you, it wasn't the wife out there; it was the toadies out there riding their asses.
I have no desire to farm half the county. I don't. I have no desire to farm 4,000 or 5,000 acres. I don't. If I can farm enough to make a living and feed my family, that's all I ask in life. It is. I'm not asking for Cadillacs, for millions of dollars. I'm not. But some people,
here's your fun fact.
Like a guy told me one time, Tony, I don't want to farm everything, just what touches mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's what it is.
But you don't like Carolyn, eventually that becomes everything.
I know, Nick.
Just explain it to you.
So, fun fact. So, the people who want to have all the millions of dollars and do all the things, once you reach that point, you are less likely to give back to your community.
Immunity?
Community.
Community. Okay, got you. Well, I thought maybe we were talking vaccination. But no, I know what you mean.
Oh, my God. I'm going to punch you in the face.
No, that's why people kill themselves, like a Michael Jackson, or, I mean, I don't know if he killed himself, but, Chris Farley's, these people that have millions of dollars that can do anything, they're not happy once they get there.
No.
So, I don't know what the answer is.
That's why I don't have that, so I stay happy.
No, I'm not. You guys are all giving me this serious look, and it's making you nervous.
Well, I'm getting a smile on my face. How's that a serious look?
Exactly.
My wife will tell you I'm never serious.
No, I'm dead serious. So the people that are the millionaires, they're the least likely to give back their communities. And this is what I always tell Tony. I was like, I don't want to be a millionaire because I want to give everything back to my community as I can.
Which you do a lot more volunteering than I do.
I know. That's why we're married.
I'm more like Vince Vaughn in Old School. And we will provide no community service whatsoever. This much I can promise you.
But this is why you married me, because we're exact opposites.
You're my boy, Blue.
You're giving nothing back. I'm giving everything back. So agree, disagree. Yes. We do this. Yes. No.
So put it this way. I'm not big on just giving to the community because there's too many hands in it, too many people I disagree with. I will help neighbors who I know how they roll. But to just go into the community and say, oh, I'm going to do this and this, and I'm going to change your whole community, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, but you do because I do.
Well, this is true. Look at that.
I give back to the community and then some.
Right. I like to be selective because I wanted to go to a good cause. Because once again, I'm not going to give to the deadbeats who aren't contributing. So if me and Nick are neighbors and I know Nick needs help, I will gladly help Nick or whoever else. But to just throw it all in the kitty to where now the thieves can take out of it, it's like, well, I'm not going to do that.
I don't think I'd do that.
Oh, but you do.
I do not. I do not.
Okay. And we have to end tonight's podcast before a marital dispute pops up.
Is ending with Carolyn punching Tony in the face.
We do need to end this podcast. I think this is the longest podcast we have ever had.
I only just jumped in.
Well, we can do another one after this one.
On tonight's Celebrity Death Match.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Remember Most Extreme Elimination Challenge? Get it on.
Let's get it on. Let's get eliminated. Yes, exactly.
The good old days of early 2000s TV.
Oh my gosh.
But
back when we were dating and we liked each other.
I will be shocked. I will be highly shocked if anybody made it all the way to the end of this podcast.
Yeah, if anybody would like to verify that they've listened to it all.
The only ones who have made this are the long haul truckers. Come on back. That have had nothing else to do but sit in the truck and listen.
What is it that they always say?
Oh, what did you say? Say that again.
I can't say it all.
You say it. Nobody can do it like Iron Mike. No, I mean, nobody.
Wow, this podcast has taken a turn.
For the worst.
The clown turned into potty mouth the clown. This is
I did not say any bad words tonight.
Oh, I heard it in my earphones.
Yes, I heard it.
Yeah, and I'm going to make sure I edit that up real high when we get there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Come on,
but in all seriousness, this has went on way too long. A typical woman. You get a woman in here, and it just drags on forever.
And on and on. With all the emotions and the feelings.
You invited me.
That's not entirely true.
We invited you, but we don't need 45-minute answers to questions.
If
you had to beat around the bush on all those questions earlier, this deal
I
would
would
over.
just like to say, I would like to take a count of how many words I said tonight versus how many words you two said tonight.
You took 45 minutes to answer the very first question I asked.
I did not. I
dodged the question.
Yep. Dodger.
I did not.
I think the record would show me.
You watch baseball? Do you like the Dodgers? At any rate, we really do have to end this.
I like the Sandlot Crew.
Gripes. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in as long as you guys did. If there's anybody still listening at this point.
And we don't blame you if you turn it off at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But that's going to wrap it up on this episode of the Straightforward Farming Podcast. And I don't know, you guys want to shoot another one while we're still here? Wife's slipping me off right now. She's cussing without the mic being on.
Yeah, it's taking
we're going to put up the camera and we're going to start filming.
Nasty turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course,
I disagree.
Drunk. She's drunk. She's drunk.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are. No. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Keep it right here on the Straightforward Farming Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Come on back.